We're with John Whitfield. John is a personal injury attorney in Nashville, and he's agreed to answer. There was a series of online questions related to railroad accidents. And so we took these questions and we're going to give them to John here, and hopefully he can provide you with an appropriate answer. First question was from Judy. Judy says, I was recently in a railroad accident. I received a traumatic brain injury. I was in a coma for several days before waking up. I didn't see the train coming because the signals on the railroad crossing weren't functioning. Who's responsible for making sure the signals on the railroad crossings are working?
Well, thanks, Judy. I'm sorry for the injuries you've sustained. The traumatic brain injuries are difficult in various aspects. The train company has the responsibility of making sure that the lights and the gates are working properly. If they turn them off for some reason and don't put flaggers out and alert the public that the warning devices, the lights and gates, are not functional, then that's their responsibility. If that happened to you in your case, then they had the responsibility to make sure that happened. So it's a problem.
Okay, the next question was from Dean. Dean says, last year my wife was in a train accident. The train came off its tracks and eventually tipped over. My wife is still recovering from her injuries, and we are swamped with medical bills. Trying to get compensation for this has been extremely difficult because the accident has been under investigation. We're being pressured to accept settlement offers. How do we know if we're getting a fair offer?
Well, Dean, the responsibility again for making sure that trains are working safely and properly and lawfully rests on the train company itself. If you got a situation where a train tipped over and injured you or your wife or your spouse, the train company has a responsibility of taking care of those issues that you have. What you might have would be medical bills, future medical bills, pain and suffering, lost wages, those type of things. Don't take a quick settlement because train companies, and we've had train cases before, and we know this, train companies are very good at trying to swoop in at an early moment of time after the accident, put some money in front of you so that you'll take it. And once you take it, once you sign a release, you're done. You can't come back anymore. So be careful about doing that. The responsibility to make sure that you're taken care of and your wife's taken care of rests with the train company. Don't take a quick settlement.
All right. Next question we had was from Sandra. Sandra says, there are a set of train tracks near my neighborhood. The tracks look really old and like they could use some maintenance. Who is responsible for making sure the tracks are safe?
Well, again, the train company is. I mean, the train company has a responsibility of maintaining the tracks. Now, the federal government as well, and certain states have responsibilities for making sure that the train tracks are in good condition, that they work properly, and that they don't cause issues. So, but at the end of the day, because the train company gets the benefit of utilizing the tracks and hauling across the country, they've got the responsibility to make sure that those tracks are safe and that they won't cause any injury to anybody.
Okay, and the last question we had was from Tina. Tina says, when a train wreck happens, who investigates the cause of the accident?
Well, Tina, that's a good question too, and various entities could be investigating the accident. The train company always comes in and has an army of people, adjusters and investigators and people like that will come in and immediately after the accident start asking questions and start interviewing people and trying to figure out what's going on. Secondly, perhaps the state police where the accident happens or local law enforcement will come in and do their own investigation, and they will try to determine the cause of the accident. Sometimes the federal government comes in certain circumstances and does their own investigation in situations like this. But I just went through 3 entities that try to come in and do an investigation. I haven't mentioned you. So in a situation like this, it's important for you to hire an attorney, whoever you choose, to come in, and somebody that's experienced in railroad cases, that knows railroad cases, and can come in and do an investigation for you to make sure that what actually happened gets out and that your rights are protected.
Excellent. Well, if you have any other questions for John, just post them in the comments section below. He's agreed to answer any of your questions. Thanks for your time.
You're very welcome.